You are watching Liberty Online TV.
This is Liberty Online TV powered by Orange Sierra Leone. Orange.
For the news we dey around, log into Liberty TV online. Positively we bring the change, they get the masses involved. Staff them everywhere. We climb the mountain just to get the news. We go down the slums to get the views. Hi yeah, our voices gone. Credibility, now we ability. News, give you the views, the tell where you want them. Government issues, democracy, now we not the answer. We human them, girl picking, there's a get the power. The count on me, the count on we anyhow. Give you the news, give you the views, the tell where you want them. Government issues, democracy, now we not the answer. Human them, girl begin the security power. You can call on me, count on me anyhow. Liberty we run.
Good morning. Today is Tuesday, September 16, 2025. And so they welcome you to the Liberty Breakfast Show, where they come to you live on Liberty Television, now Facebook, YouTube, and our website. This program is powered by Orange Sierra Leone. Where they bring to you this edition of the program this morning. My name is Al Hassan Koma.
And Mina Mabel Kaba, good morning. Inside this edition of the Breakfast Show today, we can look at the perspective from the mayor of Freetown, her worship Ivona Kisoya, where they can tell we about her own perspective regarding the announcements where the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development been make inside this year earlier, where it been talk say cabinets don't approve for then create 2 new districts in the southeast, and also Freetown therefore divide them into 2 cities where they forget 2 localities. Waiting at the perspective of the current mayor of Freetown, now that's what they can look at inside this edition of the Breakfast Show. As he earlier been write an open letter to the Minister of Local Government, who say according to Ram, this particular proposal where governments they make no suit Freetown. Well, what to make a feel say this proposal no go work for Freetown, he go can explain and also make a own suggestion as to waiting best a feel say go good for Freetown. And also now this edition of the program, the Breakfast Show on Liberty Online TV. If you don't follow the news, last week Friday, allegedly we been hearing say police be arrest 2 young lady them where then say when they get married na one village na Waterloo. We go for can look at this issue also. We don't try forget the police for know on which grounds they been arrest them people here. We see the Interreligious Council self don't condemn this act, and a lot of other people them don't they discuss this particular issue. We don't hear again say police don't left the people them. How could this be? We they try for reach the police forget the side as to which grounds they arrest them 2 women here where then say been they married themselves na Waterloo last week Friday, and also we hear from the Interreligious Council. They don't condemn the act. We also go for talk to a lawyer. We go for can explain some parts them na the law, whether there is a gap na the law, whether the law permits this or not. We dey discuss all of that in this edition of the Breakfast Show. And remember, say yourself when they watch the Breakfast Show, can drop your comments, ask your question regarding the issues them we will discuss in this edition of the Breakfast Show. You can do so by sending a text message to the number +232 74 200 545, or you drop your message in the comment section. Now the different platform them also you dey watch Liberty TV this morning. We dey try forget the Interreligious Council on the phone now. Also we go talk to the representative because we see they don't issue a press statement. Also then condemn this act because according to the Interreligious Council, this particular act for a woman them marry themselves where then catch them na Waterloo, they don't condemn them because they say it go against the religious standards of the country. On the phone they can talk to one of the representative them now the Interreligious Council when a Rabbi Tamba Eric Bayo and a vice president for the Pentecostal Fellowship of Sierra Leone and also member na the National Executive Committee of the Interreligious Council. Good morning and welcome to the Breakfast Show.
Good morning, Mabel. Good morning, listeners and viewers.
Just don't tell the viewers them, we see the Interreligious Council issue a position regarding this issue of two young lady them where them being said and catch on Friday. Now Waterloo they married. Firstly, let me just know the Interreligious Council, how na been received this news say two young people them na salon where na of the same sex been they get married na Waterloo.
Thank you very much, Mabel. This issue, like we say, don't become a topical issue now the nation of Sierra Leone because it goes viral on social media. And we, as the Interreligious Council of Sierra Leone, we get a position where then we don't give it as moral guarantors at this nation. And so, as a body, we look at this incident and we say this is not in line with the laws of Sierra Leone. It's not in line with our religious doctrines and traditions. And so it is strongly condemned across the board, both Christians and Muslims, when are the dominant faith in the country. And so this clearly shows that it is against the laws of Sierra Leone, and it's against our tradition.
So as Interreligious Council, una preaching say this day against the religions and the cultures of Sierra Leone. I've been surprised una for years say two young lady them gets married na Waterloo and somebody they were allegedly then say been tied this marriage. I've been surprised una?
Well, first and foremost, for two ladies that get married, not the thing was surprising. Because this now a trend way don't they take prominence now in the world at large. I mean, even in the Western world, we see the people also man the married man, woman the married woman. But it is not our culture, it is not part of our tradition and our religion in Sierra Leone. So, as far as we are concerned, we, the Interreligious Council, we mounted up an independent investigation into this matter, and we get coordinators all around the country. And the districts they're all. So this married the people in Western and come out, they go married all the way in Waterloo, now 17 called New London. And as far as we investigations don't lead we from the Supreme Islamic Council, the Council of Imams, this person we allegedly where they say an imam is not an imam, it's not a cleric, and he is nowhere to be found now, he's on the run. And so the matter is still under investigation for find out. But as far as I can tell you, he's not an imam, he's not in the council, he's not registered, they don't know him as an imam, and neither is he a pastor, but the person is on the run.
So Reverend, with the investigation we don't do as a Interreligious Council, just like you mentioned about the possibility on the one, allegedly we been tied this particular marriage now Waterloo. As it on the run on a pre-investigation, we too able for gather with regards to that particular policy, whether it is still at Waterloo or whether in the part of any group, whether it's a Christian or Muslim, but because plenty people mention says it's part of the whether in an imam or sheikh, because that's plenty people be they mention now the social media. But what's on a pre investigation with regards to the individual with on the one?
Well, basically, like I don't say earlier on, the investigations don't prove, number one. You see, the Interreligious Council, we get about 14 or 15 organizations who form the Interreligious Council, both Christian and Muslim. And so the Supreme Islamic Council, the United Council of Imams, if that person did not register with both those organizations, then I don't know which way you register with again. If you're an imam, women are pastor, I did a Pentecostal Fellowship of Sierra Leone, some then Evangelical Fellowship, some then a Council of Churches. So if you know the Supreme Islamic Council, you know the Council of Imams, then we don't go to the Council of Imams, we then a Interreligious Council, then don't investigate. This person is not part of none of these organizations that belong to the body. And so we cannot call him an imam. And, you know, I mean, we have scholars who study the scriptures. They can take anybody from anywhere, as long as you study Surah to Al-Fatiha, Surah chapter 1, you study them, you can pray. Anybody can pray. So it is not necessarily that because he pray means he's an imam or a pastor. If you study our Father, you can pray. So it's not necessarily that he's an imam. So we don't know where he is at the moment. Like I say, the people in our Western they come out, they go Waterloo, now one place they call New London, they get a bachelor's night, everything, and they're married, and they make calabash, all that stuff. We know how much money been there, all that stuff in there. So, but as far as we are concerned now, we don't have any record of this imam, and like we say, he's on the run, and it is not part of the Council of Imams, neither the Supreme Islamic Council of Sierra Leone or any other religious body that is recognized in the nation of Sierra Leone.
This practice, they jeopardize the two popular religions in a Salon, we na Christianity and Islam. So, waiting, una they expect, you know, from the una own point of view, na the Interreligious Council, what do they expect from the police?
Well, first and foremost, we understand that the people in the custody of the police, and the police is doing the investigation, so we don't have to prejudice that. However, we know that it is illegal under Section 61 of the Offences of the Persons Against the Persons Act of 1861. So same-sex marriage is not permitted in Sierra Leone. And so we expect the law for taking course. But like I say, we don't have to prejudice the matter now because it is in the hands of the police and then they investigate. Waiting, we own responsibility. That is what we have done, to issue a press release, a press statement condemning this act of same-sex marriage in our country, that it is against tradition, it is against spiritual and moral and the cultural fabric of our society.
So at this stage, whose message una don't send to una membership? Because although you say una don't try for find out the person with them they allege say tie this marriage, from una investigation una don't confirm say the person is not an imam. But waiting una don't tell una membership regarding this issue of same-sex marriage na Salon.
Well, first and foremost, in line with this particular incident, that's why we have issued this statement. Number one, for all we constituents and know say this is not part of this imam or whosoever officiated this so-called marriage, not a part of we, number one. Number two, we have informed all our members also that we know from time immemorial that we have been preaching that marriage is between a man and a woman, male and female, and in the Garden of Eden, for women in the Bible, we see Adam and Eve. It was not Adam and Steve or Eve and Evelyn. And so the Bible says, therefore a man shall leave his father and his mother and be cleaved to his wife, and the two shall become one. So that is what we have been preaching, you know, Genesis chapter 2, verse number 24. So we continue to preach the message to our people that a man shall leave his father and mother and hold fast to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. And we see also now Ephesians 5:25, the Bible tells us, all husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church. So Christ loved the church is the bride. So the bridegroom cannot love the bridegroom. So that is the argument we are saying. So we continue to recognize the position of the church and Islam, that it is not part of our religion and it is a cost.
Even though in other parts of the religion na Salon, but also the huge number of people believe say this na fact where religion no accept it, culture not accept it, but now people where they exist amongst we. Because the other day, a colleague media house again been published, also then gets a whole lot of statistics where they pull for say, these people are within the communities. Una worried as a fellowship for no say, in as much as culture not permits, religion not permits them, but they are existing within our communities, and the numbers then look like it grow?
Well, remember, the fact of the matter is that you cannot stop somebody from believing in what he or she wants to believe in or practice what they want to practice. However, if your practice contravenes the laws or the scriptures, then we're opposed to it and we will not support that. So it is not an issue of worry. It is an issue of doing the right thing at the right time. For example, as far as we know, marriage is a divine institution. And we don't see just now in the scriptures that marriage is a gift from God, and it is designed for bringing two people together, husband and wife, man and woman, in a lifelong bond. And so, if that love and respect for come from husband and wife, it cannot be ultra virus. It cannot be on the other side. So, as far as we are concerned, we are not worried, but we are concerned that these things are happening in our society and people not respect the law and the culture and tradition and religion. So we continue to preach against it. We continue to cause them to see the bigger picture and to see why they should not practice this and give them an alternative. You know, Salon, we get the tendency for always condemn, but we know they prefer solutions and alternatives. But we as religious leaders, we preach the right way. We preach the truth. Even in the Quran, in Surah chapter 1, verse number 6, it says, Inna Shirat al-Mustaqim, show me the right way. They ask for the right way. We serve John chapter 14, verse number 6, the Bible says, Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto the Father but by him. So we continue to preach the truth. And so we give them an option.
And this option where you say una don dey give, you think say don't they make impact, taking into consideration the number of the community of LGBTQ they grow based on the statistics where we see the other day?
If you talk about statistics, I consider that to be a drop in the ocean. Comparatively, when you talk about the number of Muslims, 78% in the country, and you talk about Christians, 20 something or 30%, even though that number they conservatively might be 60 and 30 now, given the present situation on the ground where we as Christians they do with statistics, 60 and 30. So what percentage are those LGBTQs or whatever they call themselves? So as far as there's a drop in the ocean. However, every human being is respected. Every life matters to God, and so we will not let them go astray. That is why we continue to preach the gospel. Everywhere you have the good, the bad, and the ugly. Even if they want to, they want your heart. So sometimes you preach, they don't want to listen. Some people you preach, they get converted, they get convicted. The Holy Spirit convicts them, and they get converted. So that's why we continue to preach the gospel, so that they get converted and their lives become affected and be changed.
So this issue don't they happen plenty time in secret, but of course this one come publicly we happen at Waterloo.
Yes.
Yeah, this come publicly we happen at Waterloo. So what in Interreligious Council they do for ensure we get a public education, or we get a special, sermon them, preaching the way them for do now the various church or mosques across the country for ensure the message spread out across the country on this issue, like where maybe they mention about the number don't they come up, in different parts of the country. You don't think this now it's threat where the Interreligious Council need for ensure they come with public education?
Thank you very much. It is crucial. It is important. Your point is well in place. We are taking the appropriate steps. We as a body, we as Interreligious Council, that is why we issued this statement, number one. And number two, we are educating our members. And the truth of the matter is that these things are not new. Even in the old days, years, 3,000-4,000 years ago, they were practicing the same things. And God was not pleased with those people. And so we will not go against what God is not pleased with. And so that's why we continue to tell with members, with pastors, with imams, them, continue to preach the unadulterated word of God. Because the Bible tells we say the word of God is quick, is powerful, is sharper than any two-edged sword. So when the word of God is preached with that conviction, there are three things that happen. Number one, it convinces you. Number two, it will convict you, and number three, it will convert you. So we look towards our preaching on the pulpit on Sunday and in the members on Friday, and we will preach this message. Trust me, this is now an eye-opener where they don't begin to come out openly. So we have to make our members know that what they did was not of God, was not officiated by an imam or a pastor, and it is against the law, and we preach the truth. For let you understand.
All right, many thanks where you join with this morning. Rabbi Tamba Eric Bayo, the Vice President for Pentecostal Fellowship of Sierra Leone and member na the National Executive Council for the Interreligious Council. Thank you for joining this morning.
Thank you very much.
Well, that's na Rabbi, be they talk to we as be they tell we the position of the Interreligious Council regarding the same-sex marriage of two young lady them, where reports been come out on Friday say police been arrest them na Waterloo because then two young lady then so then say them be they married. Well, we still don't try forget the police since we hear this particular incident, but up till now we're not able to forget them for talking at the phone for confirm on which grounds they arrest them people here. And yesterday again we get other information say they don't left them. Whether this not true or not, we get for try forget the police, but we they continue for look at the issue. Let we try for talk to a private legal practitioner where from we end we want for let answer a few questions, and one, the position of the law on same-sex union. It will also talk on the cultural and social norms and the gap na the law regarding same-sex union, and of course it will end up make recommendations them. We'll go on the phone again for try forget this private legal practitioner for let give we a position where I just don't talk about where it go explain but the law within the law say but same-sex union, and also it go for tell we the gaps them na the country in law. Now the program now I want for welcome Michael Michel Conte, we a lawyer. Good morning and welcome to the Breakfast Show on Liberty TV.
Maybe good morning, and good morning to the viewers and listeners.
All right, so I just don't tell the viewers them. You know, one person where I see writes a very long piece over the weekend when this particular incident become public for say two young lady them be they get married na Waterloo where the police then say be apprehend them. Well, we still let's try forget the police, but this your particular piece where you been right regarding this issue being address the issue of the position of the law on same-sex union, the cultural and social norms, the gap then at the law, and also you been providing recommendations them where according to you for address this for let not happen in the future, then recommendations and the people them within authority for look at. But let me just start first with the law. You're not a lawyer and you write a whole piece regarding this issue of woman and woman them they get married in a salon. Firstly, let we know if it been shock you when you get the information.
Well, as a person, I know things it shocked me that through the news around woman and woman they get married in a salon, because about 3 weeks ago I think I came across statistics will be published by one of the media outlets. Then we speak to the numbers, and also as a teacher in social work and law, we most times come across materials them we get to do with people then we get married, whether as on same-sex union, whether a man to man or woman to woman. So it not shock me, but waiting I think say shock me now the arrest will happen, and I be once for no under whose basis will it happen, considering the fact say now woman to woman I didn't get married on that day, or said to have gotten married on that day.
Why you say you been once for no? Because this is a question where many other people and we self na Liberty Online TV don't they try forget the police. Let we know on which basis they arrest them.
Yeah, so the first thing will come to my mind when I see this news now that the said union the said ceremony will take place. I try first for check about the legality of it. So if you check now, one of the first areas and then they were addressing the piece, and a very necessary that fumble, they will listen, understand. Saying as alone, there are 4 types of marriages we laws recognize. You get the Christian marriage, Cap 95, the Mohammedan marriage, Cap 96, civil marriage, Cap 97, and the customary marriage we recognize by the Registration of Customary and Divorce Act 2007. From all of them 4 marriages, then one thing they were unique and one thing they were cut across. The law only recognize what you call heterosexual sex. So that means of the opposite sex, a man to a woman to a man. So anything outside that law will actually happen in itself is not legal. So the third ceremony will actually happen on that day na Waterloo between a woman and a woman. By law, it is not legal. So whatever ceremony, whatever fanfare we did do, the law not recognize them. That are the first aspect. So, what's make they say the law not recognize them? Apart from the fact that they had a ceremony, there are spousal benefits we can come across. We can come across with getting married to people, and they would not be beneficiaries to them benefits. Say, for instance, one of them die intestate. That is, they die, they get property, but they no write a will. Normally, if somebody goes through the 4 forms of marriage, they may claim spousal benefits in that regard. But that kind of ceremony, they will happen that day. Neither of them will be able to claim on the basis of the being a spouse or marital spouse eventually. But also the other issue we caught my attention. Now the arrest, we then see they go arrest. So I was willing to understand on those basis we make the Sierra police go do the arrest. Yes, there may be ancillary laws them. We might give them an authority for them make an intervention, but the general discussion will be to go across different media or mediums now that. Now, because now same-sex marriage. Now, the law on same-sex marriage, na Sierra Leone, to the best of my research, no touch on or no contemplate lesbianism. Now, we talk about the law, the closest law we deal with same-sex marriage or same-sex union, you want to put it that way. Now, the Offenses Against the Persons Act 1861. And Section 61 of that particular law, basically make abominable for anybody to be engaged. The word is buggery with either mankind or any animal. In the colonial era, and the colonial context, and legal scholars them right through, don't define buggery as an engagement in sexual activity through the anal. The contemplation of that by then, now that where a man they get involved with a man. And the definition of mankind, according to legal scholars and right across, not be done include woman them. So apparently the law was saying, if a man gets sex with a man through anal, it makes it criminal. Or a sexual activity is done with an animal, it makes it criminal. It come off from 15 years to life imprisonment then. Apparently, it tells you that woman to woman relation, we'll call lesbian dilectly, was actually not contemplated. So it is my own view that if the basis upon which the Sierra Leone police did the arrest, now for make them rely on the sexual relations we may exist between the woman and woman them on that, we get the union on that day. It is my position that that law may not cover them, or they may not have any legal basis on that. However, there may be public order offenses upon which they may rely on, and I am not in position for later give an advice to the Sierra Leone police on that. So basically, those were the 2 issues. One are the facts: the marriage is not legal, not under any of the forms of marriage in Sierra Leone, the 4 forms of marriage, but also the arrest also, even on the basis of their sexual relations, it will be very difficult to make it come under the only law we may understand. We may know say for deal with sexual relations. We know the Offences Against the Persons Act, Section 61 of that act. For make the use for let them pursue them two ladies then they.
So Michael, here comes in religion and cultural norms. We just don't talk to the Interreligious Council, we comprise of both the Muslim and Christian. We now the religion and done within the practice officially in a salon, and according to them, this particular acts now one way go against religion and cultural norms of salon. So waiting missing here, based on your piece where you write, you be make mention also of the cultural norms. Is it that perhaps the police use them standards here for all them people here?
Yeah, I know want to make an assumption for the police. I only made a position that if the reliance now on Section 61 of the Offences Against the Persons Act, the possibility for let you get a judge that looks through all of them, or a bench that looks through all of them scholarly writings then they and relies to say that woman there will be caught up with that law. Could possibly be very slim. But now to the cultural and social norms, then the effect of them. I agree that we get a society, or we are in a society, we largely draw its values from religion. So of course you have majority of the Christian and the Muslim religion in Sierra Leone, and with traditions them, and whether it's Christian, whether it's Muslim, whether it's our culture and tradition in Sierra Leone, they also make do with the fact they confirm heterosexuality and procreation, and that can best happen when you have to do with the opposite sex, man and woman. All right, and that I am sure was also a reason for we informed the law there so, and apparently the discussion as to whether we should allow same-sex marriage, not only in Sierra Leone or in Africa, we highly influenced by culture and religion. Don't they come across? My point and what I am saying is that a constant conversation there. Now that wise people and they try for protect with culture and with tradition and religious values, there are times then we people and they go willing to go and overstretch and even unbog the human rights of the individuals in question. You know, people and they way they get through stigma, and people and they way they get through harassment, and then they
because that's what I want to ask you, say as a lawyer, what you go say regarding best practices, international human rights laws themselves where salon be don't sign to regarding that kind of issue? Yeah?
So when we talk about human rights, we need to understand something, that one person right stop at the start of another person. That you choose for be a homosexual in any form does not mean that your action should inhibit the rights of another. All right, but also that you make a disagreement to that type of sexuality, you also have to look around under the circumstances. These are conversations that we know don't happen as I. So for me, in what I think is that first and foremost we have to open the conversation and let we take a position that we fill in the gaps in the country, because if we continue to left I'm hanging like that, people and they would exploit the situation like what happened at Waterloo. They may have had an advice as to say it may not be criminal on them to have engaged in that, because a law cannot possibly hold them on that basis. However, there are people within the society we feel like for say our culture and our tradition is being tampered with, and if we continue to allow them to therefore happen, we picking them or we other set of people and we get influence, which we regard as negative influence, and the one that we feel say they want for follow then kind trend, and they go also feel stigmatized and look like for say they are being shifted from society. But one thing where I think say the cause all of this now, because we not done as a nation decide for let we get a conversation around it, and if we get to regulate them entirely, where we put laws them, if the law efforts say homosexuality is banned from happening in Sierra Leone, and we get safeguards around them, around the human rights of whosoever we may get involved into it. Let we make sure we get the laws and very clear on that. Let one person not just grab and decide what to think as they feel. That's my position. My position is not saying whether homosexuality is right or wrong, or whether we should abandon our traditions and our culture. The point is, we have to be very clear with our legislations, and some of the legislations that we rely on, for me, they are obsolete. We can only account for them if we allow for the parliament or through the government decide or look to say, okay, there are gaps that are existing within these laws. We not only need for wait until we get pressure from international community, or we are assured of support at some point to say until you pass the law there, so we know give this kind of money, because apparently it's like for that nature approach we don't the experience from lawmakers or maybe authorities them with the in charge for let we look over we lost them. As a country, we can still sit and say, all right, we feel like for say for instance, Truth Media, they make a publication about 66,000 people that were engaged in homosexuality. All right, this is alarming. Is it something we want to continue to get in our society? If we do not want to get it, can we possibly put laws way very explicit and very clear for deal with this particular issue once and for all? So anybody thinks say they want to engage in that and it's an act of criminality, instead we will know say you don't want to offend the laws. But if you allow people them to exploit the gaps of the law and you are not addressing that, and when once they exploit them gaps in the law, then you still want to do something very illegal. For me, I think it's also not cognizant of the fact that the person also gets a human right. So it's a matter of balancing human rights and with culture, with values, and the necessary legislation that will get in place. We're very close to their subject matters in there.
So, Michael, I just want to take you back on your opening statement where you first mentioned about the forms of marriage, the way we get in a salon, where you talk about Christianity, Islam, the traditional marriage, and that of the civil marriage. You know, feel because you are so like skeptical on the form of arrest where the police do, and you mentioned say this kind of married when the same-sex marriage will happen at Waterloo, it not the part of we married with forms of marriage in a salon. So you know, facing on that basis, police do the arrest.
Yeah. So marriage is a civil union. Yeah. It is providing for the rules that govern it. There are laws and they provide for the rules that govern for let you regard you married as being legal. Okay, if you not go according to the rules of the marriage, of the different laws and that we cover marriage, it's basically saying your marriage cannot be recognized as being a marriage. Okay, it is not saying when you not go according to the rules, it becomes a criminal offense. I'll give you an example. The Christian Marriage Act is requiring that you publish bans of marriage for specific periods of time. If you decide to go married without publishing bans of marriage, then on a ceremony. But if it is challenged civil, remember there's a difference between criminal and civil law. If it is challenged that this marriage not actually go through the right process that's provided by the law, then it becomes void. It becomes voidable. That means it cannot be recognized by law. If even there are reasons for make you get benefits out of them, then you may not claim that benefit because you did not follow the law. That is not to say because you not publish bans of marriage means it's an act of criminality, or you will be held culpable criminally. Or say the asylum police will arrest you and say, "Well, I'm not go according to the rules." So I am cocksure that the asylum police would not rely on saying that because they not fall part of the four forms of marriage. First and foremost, the marriage itself is void ab initio. It not even supposed to be regarded as a marriage. Okay, because a breach in matrimonial Causes Act and Rules of 1960. We basically, they ask that the marriage, one indicator for let you be recognized as marriage for be heterosexual, of opposite sex. So for the fact that it breached that particular aspect, which means nothing like marriage actually happened, but that's not an act of criminality. Which I think say possibly go down inspire the act of criminality. Maybe either a non-cognizance of the limitations of Section 61 of the Offences Against the Persons Act.
Right.
We only remotely speak to burglary and mankind, and not being contemplate woman-to-woman relations, or possibly the possible public order offences, but not necessarily because the marriage was not properly constructed.
All right.
I'm not sure.
Many thanks for share your view with we this morning at the breakfast show, Michelle.
Hello?
Yes, many thanks for you joining me this morning.
Yeah, the call is muted. It's muted.
Michelle, many thanks for you joining me at the breakfast show this morning for share your opinion regarding the same-sex marriage way up on our Waterloo.
Thank you so very much, and thank you very much to viewers and listeners.
All right, well, that's now Michael Conte, a private legal practitioner, will be the share in your opinion regarding the same-sex marriage, where then say be na Waterloo on Friday. And like I tell you earlier, we still try to get the police, let we know on which basis they make the arrest and whether or not they don't left them two young lady here, where then say them be hold because them be the married themselves na Waterloo. We earlier been talked to the Interreligious Council, where say don't condemn this particular act. According to them, it is against the country in religious and cultural norms. Them we just hear it from a private legal practitioner again. A lawyer we don't make an opinion, and according to them, instead believe say although it is not legal na the law them, but gap the way he believes say this not time for begin have the conversation, forget it's legally written in the salon law them for say same-sex union nothing we not permissible na the country because the gaps them already there na the law. Well, we've been telling us in this edition of the breakfast show today with the host the mayor of Freetown when I have worship Yvonne Akisoya. They can't tell we in own perspective on this whole issue we get for do with creating new districts in the southeast, but with a focus on the one where they cover in own parts also currently na in the Freetown, na in the mayor na Freetown, and it even be done create a hashtag where it call Save Freetown since this talk begin from the Minister of Local Government, where say cabinets don't approve for letting get Freetown divided into two and get two new localities. Them what's the perspective of the mayor? Now that's what they can look at inside the program this morning. This BNT maybe don't write an open letter to the minister who said got the attention as to why it's important for letting left Freetown like it so. Well, they can share all of that with on the program this morning. Now a pleasure for get you once more. Good morning, ma'am, and welcome to the breakfast show.
Pleasure for make myself there today.
All right, I just want to tell the viewers them we want for can get you perspective on this whole issue of dividing Freetown into two and getting two new localities. Them we know say where the talk being broke. On ourselves as a council being forced don't get a town hall. Also, when I've been talked to people them on this particular issue because according to you and so many other people where we done the host, the ministry not be officially reach out to the council, for example, also you the head now. That's again of the same as Chairman Casho instead phrase the same concern. No prior conversation not been there, but just come to the public and informing the public that cabinet has approved for letting go ahead and do this. And according to the minister, it's say in a consultation no man how they do for inform the public say this is a decision where cabinets don't agree on. Let's just take you back. You've been surprised as the mayor of Freetown for no say cabinets go approve something we get for do with I go call them UCT because now you know the mayor currently with UCT without any proper consultation prior to that.
Yes, Mabel, definitely I've been very surprised. And the reason why I'm surprised is because this is not a light decision. You know, when you talk about dividing a city, and I don't hear it and say, oh no, to divide with the divide, you know, they can't put wall between the city. No, that's not the point. You divide the city because a city, they under the control of a local council. So for as long as you get two local councils, that means that you don't create two localities. That means that you don't create two cities. So you don't divide Freetown into two cities. And that's, as I say, not to a small decision, and not to a decision where it will be taken without reference to data, without reference to statistics, without reference to the social economic implications. Now, something way for be done in a very considered way, because ultimately we as the political leaders, whether the subnational government like local councils or the national government, we obligation, the reason why we exist, now for improve the lives of the people that already vote for we. So anything we already do, we always forget that as we driving force. And you know they do make a decision without data. And for all the many reasons we expound in the open letter where I do on the 3rd of June, you know, I think say we set them out, and so many things don't happen. We just don't go for confirm which are set out in the first place. You might ask, say, Mayor, why not open letter you write? I think it stems from waiting you self-talk. Say we find the information, or we hear about information in the open media, on the social media. And coming back to your question, if I'm surprised, yes, I'm very surprised. For a decision don't go from the point of a discussion within a ministry to a cabinet approval, when you get key stakeholders, we get something we didn't say, we not be allowed, given the opportunity for share. I want for believe, say, the motive for be a positive motive, that the reason for do this now for improve the lives of Freetonians. We keep on the yeary say now for improve service delivery, but we ask the question how, because all waiting we know, all waiting we don't experience, all waiting we don't research, all waiting even the consultants from the World Bank where they do the review of the land use planning, the land laws, we really get for do it some of the key functions of a council, all waiting that they showy, all waiting the experience that other countries they showy, is that this na a reversal. This na something way could be detrimental to service delivery and not a positive.
Why you say that's something we would affect or will be detrimental to the service delivery
Freetown. Yeah. Okay. Well, let me start off first of all. I want for say waiting at the services where they talk about, waiting at the role of the local government in all of this, because if you say now local council you get for divide in order for improved services, the first question you go ask is, now whose services will they talk about exactly? Now who that they do then services where you feel to say the services go be improved if you make the council smaller? Number one service where anybody go talk about inside a city. Now how will they plan the city? How will they give building permits? Then a major thing, because now in they affect the look and feel of the city. Now council responsible for that? No. Now Ministry of Lands. Yes, legislation they go through now, way by God in grace go change that. But as we stand now, that's not to the case. And certainly making the Freetown Council, dividing them into two, not in any way go strengthen that or improve that, because that's now a question of capacity and policy, and a lot of waiting we don't see with the building of properties now, water side building of properties on steep slope, lack of just chaotic planning will bring me to the point of roads. Recently, Mabel, I think I've been there just a couple of weeks ago, where we see that video, we go round, we show the terrible state of the roads. That's not a service to the people of Freetown, and that's not a service where SLRA, with funding from RMFA, charge for deliver. Not to local council, they do the roads, and the roads and they in an abysmal state, in a deplorable state. We see that video where we all not get for see the video for no, because we experience them day in and day out. But waiting that video they show specifically now the poor roads and the lack of maintenance, a key service for Freetonians. Waiting in not show now the fact say road access no day fire been day na Crabtongue last night. Why we get all these fires in informal settlements? Because we get a proliferation of informal settlements, for reasons I will come back to. But one of the key things about those is lack of road access. But not just we informal settlements not get road access. We get huge communities. Look at a place, I can always use this example because it's easy for let people that relate to we're in Mount Oriel. Mount Orel, way they above the hillside bypass, massive community, thousands of people living there, no road access. This is a major failing when it comes to service delivery, because it also means say you know able access then community then they even for collect dirty. Now city council responsible for the road access? No. Road access come from SLRA. So again you see say key functions where the impact service delivery negatively, not to the role of the local council. That can to water. Naguma getting mandate for provide water. So if you not get water, dividing Freetown City Council into two will make you get water? No, because the function that service delivery will not happen. Now a function where central government they provide light. This we don't see terrible deterioration in the light situation. We be serviced by car power ship. For me, Usami de Najuba, we light the fluctuate so badly. We get light, we light the earth. When we get light, the light not even do for turn on all the appliances or even turn on some of the light bulbs. So is this a function of service delivery? Yes. Dividing Freetown into two councils will lead to an improvement in service delivery? No. If we come on to sanitation, Sarah, maybe Tarek, you want to say something?
Before we come to sanitation,
okay.
The open letter where you send to, where you write to the minister, now one way you express concern, dividing Freetown for you express concern, say issues go there with the, according to you, the rich history and culture of Freetown. Because according to the minister, Tina we begin make mention so just now we get for do with service delivery. Now some of the reasons in that way is say make the one for divide Freetown. Waiting at this rich culture and history where you believe say even divide Freetown igwa and bogam.
So one of the things we very, very important for let we keep in mind in this entire discussion, not the motive. Okay, when you want to do something way so fundamental, something way so significant, where they get such a massive impact on a city's history and in future, you get for know why you do them. The ministers say now because of improvement to service delivery. I go say again, from roads to light to water, and they come on to health. And they come on to education. You know, the services, there is one service where they purely under the purview of City Council, and that's now sanitation. And sanitation don't improve significantly in the 7 years where me don't be mayor. But again, the division of Freetown not go make sanitation improve. I go come on to sanitation and go into that in more detail. I want for continue for anchor this conversation in waiting don't be the argument of the government, because if you say right across the board now services, health, education, water, electricity, roads, fire force, these are the services that you talk about service delivery. Sanitation, huge improvement, huge obstacles, great potential. But let me quickly touch on your question about the history, because of course it is important. Freetown founded in 1792, and the founding of Freetown itself a potential way we not fully utilize. We get historic sites in the city. Inside Transform Freetown, Transforming Lives, we really get it as an objective for elevate the heritage tourism story of we capital. And that not something in anything, maybe if you scatter, you're not able for deliver. When it comes to the tourism story, we get sites within in the east, like the old Fabric College. We get sites within the center, like the stairs, the slave stairs. We get sites that within the west, like the old how do you call them? What do you call it? The lighthouse. All of these get many stories, and this now potential way Freetown get a potential where we not fully realize and utilize, but we don't want for destroy. In 2019, I've been invited by the International African American Museum for go and be part of the turning of the sword for that museum. And we do that because of the link between Freetown, well, in this particular case, Buns Island, but being that Freetown is the capital, and Freetown also gets a similar link with Tassel Island, being, say, the source or the destination of many of the slaves that we come on Buns Island, now being Gadsden Wharf, now Charleston. These are links that we would only try for capitalize on, but you know, we don't get a challenging time in terms of administration. But that sense of identity, that sense of union, we signified and so symbolically by the cotton tree, wait till we be able to achieve for the 230-year anniversary, just 3 years ago, bringing Freetonians from right across the city, every ethnic group, because we are the melting pot. Splitting Freetown is splitting a split of the culture as well. But I want to come back to waiting at the service improvement we already talk about and how it will be funded if you divide the city into two. I come on to waste management. One of the reasons why I run for office, besides the environment, now being waste management. And one of the things that we're doing immediately now for work on introducing waste collection through the tricycle groups. We'll be able to set up 120 tricycle groups. And that model day be address the question of who do they collect you dirty? This city in population, like any modern city today, you know, really suited. Then also I know there we go. You know, go Accra, you know, go Nairobi, because I once just even use African cities. You know, go Dar es Salaam or Addis, you go see, as people like Guinea say, we need for let we get dirty box. No, that model day don't be a thing of the past because of reasons of hygiene, because of the reasons of pollution and so on. So we model now before let we get household waste collection, and we build the transfer stations. And I remember that the transfer stations, famously, we've been getting one na Jomo Kenyatta Road, outside the then Minister of Lands, come and destroy them. So you see service delivery efforts being impacted negatively by a ministry official, more than a ministry official, a minister. You know, eventually after 1 year, we'll be able to move on with that transfer station. But then we face internal sabotage because the then CA refuse for allow them for be operational. And of course, we all know, say, when it comes to council, the mayor, when it comes to any sort of financial expenditure, it gets to be done in collaboration with the CA and the FO. So even though we take a decision, say, those transfer stations go creates the opportunity for the tricycles for get a better place for deposit the waste, for able for do recycling, and for maintain them vehicles, because we know say the dump site being challenged. Now that not happen, waiting happen. We also be in 2020 we get 20 million US dollars approved by the World Bank for let them build a sanitary landfill. This is the sanitation service delivery, a sanitary landfill. We work very hard on we own side in terms of the concept, the strategy for how that landfill they go be utilized. We before involve the closing of the two dump sites within now, Nakisi and King Tom. The government being tasked with the responsibility for provide the land, because obviously Freetown, 82 square kilometers, not get 100 acres of land, which is when in the World Bank be required. After a lot of meetings, after a lot of work, after a lot of surveys, eventually in 2024 October, the World Bank will get for withdraw the offer, that approval of $20 million for the sanitary landfill, because the land not being forthcoming without encumbrance. So this is another example. Service delivery need collaboration. So if we don't get funding of $20 million and we're not able to move forward because the government's not able to provide the land, and we talk about service delivery, that's also for be borne in mind. That don't mean to say we not do we work as council for deliver services. Una go no say with the support of the very same Ministry of Local Government, we're just not able to pass a new bylaw in April of this year. A bylaw where it will significantly improve waste collection in the city. A bylaw where based on Freetown starting in Orugu and ending in Levuma. A bylaw where means say now we get the private sector coming in and starting household waste collection. Registration don't they go on? On Friday last week, we do training for 700 enforcement officers, community engagement people. This and every day we sweep the streets of Freetown. Every day we clean the markets of Freetown. So service delivery on sanitation, when are the responsibility of Freetown City Council. Now responsibility will we meet, and our responsibility will not go be improved by dividing the city into two.
With all of them,
lack of coordination.
Waiting you fear if they really divide Freetown.
So I get for let people that understand say, Mina Freetonian. Mina the mayor of the city, but Mina Freetonian. Now ya born at PCMH hospital. Now ya raised. Now ya go school. I go at any primary school. Now ya I go convent. I go FBC. This is the city when I'm home. The city where I love. Yes. It not affect me term as mayor, but this is not about me. This issue is not about me. Many Freetonians then feel very strongly about this, not because of a personal reason of mandate, but because we love we city and we don't want to see we city fragmented and the services in we city more challenged. You hear what I say, service delivery. Who is providing the services? Roads, government. Electricity, government. Education, largely government, because if you look at the school subsidy situation, now today, I was held in traffic because kids just don't go back to school today after 1 week of not being able to go to school. Why? Because teachers then strike. Why? Because school subsidies not be paid to teachers. Service delivery is education. When it comes to the local councils, we roll very, very we roll very superficial. We did monitor exams. We did distribute teaching and learning materials. We did use what resources we get from government, which is very limited. I calculate and say it work out at about 874 leons, not 1,000 leons, 874 new leons per school. Now we don't receive this year because we have 877 schools. So wait till we be able to do that school. I actually do a write-up. I make sure say I do a breakdown of the funds where government don't transfer to council in this year, one allocation transferred on the 18th of August 2025. For 2025 we begin in January. So when it comes to these services, who is delivering? How does splitting Freetown help deliver? Waiting Freetown City Council to deliver? Now sanitation. And with sanitation situation, don't improve considerably and it will continue for improve. Waiting at the issue. The issue is fragmentation of collaboration, but significantly, Mabel, resources. A new council, they require a new council building, a new office, new staff. They all need for be paid. As we see on so today, the only funds where government don't pay to the local councils across the country now the last quarter of 2024 allocation. So if government not in a position for support the existing councils and we get for rely on resource mobilization, how that get for FIBA? Number one, Freetown, in all of this with the area, with rumors with the area, all this, we not get a clear plan. Government just go say we divide Freetown without approval in a cabinet. You not able to communicate to we, the existing stakeholders in the city, how the city go be. We hear on one hand, then say it go be east and west. We hear on the other hand, say it go be, Freetown go be from Kleintown to Congo Cross. Waiting at the logic. So if you can't, 1 minute, let's just quickly finish on this. If you say east to west, we don't show you because we get it data. We get it statistics. We get it facts. We able for show you say when it comes to resource mobilization, city council, we budget for 2025, it not reach 25% where they come from the central government. The rest now the council, they raise them from we residents. And when it comes to the raising of revenue, we know say through we own data, say from Levuma, Ward 399, till you reach Ward 423, then at the east end of Freetown, they not contribute more than 20% in 2024, 20% of the revenue of the council. The balance 80% come from Ward 424 to Ward 446, the west of the city. But today, we build and improve communities in the east. We not make them suffer because we not segregate as a city. When you split the city, who side the revenue they come out? Government clearly not in a position for support the councils financially. So you mean say waiting you get now you go able for use in only one part of the city. Currently we get massive plans. We just about for sign inside this week probably we signed the contract for the refurbishment of Bombay Street Market. We did do one for Lumley Street Market, but we not say the money for Bombay Street Market can only come from the east of Freetown. The money for Lumley Street Market can only come from the west of Freetown. We are Freetown. We all are Freetonians, and we share resources and make sure the city as a whole to be lifted up. Splitting the city go cause one side of the city way less financially strong for be very, very disadvantaged.
The intentions of the government, you think they have genuine intentions of splitting Freetown on for political gains? Well, what are your thoughts?
If you're not able for provide any data for sure. If when I look, I mean, I've been look at me colleague cities in the continent. You know, I get the privilege of having been elected as the C40 global co-chair for the South, for the Global South. So it means that I get with me, working with me, a number of African cities, and I've been just pull up data on that just last night. I will continue, then I will come back to them, I will share them. But I've been look at a comparison of cities such as Accra, 2.3 million people, Nairobi, 5 million people, Addis, 8 million people, Cairo, 20 million people. This is now one city with one local council. In some cases, you go get boroughs. And at the hearing, then he talk say, old President Kurma don't say this. Let me make a very clear clarification on waiting President Kurma look into. We're totally different from waiting be said. President Kurma recognize as all urban planners and urban developers and those way they study urban management understand that better coordination, they give better service delivery. And that if you look at, for example, the City of London, you get the Mayor of London, with the Mayor of Greater London. Beneath the Mayor of London, you get boroughs, but there is one overall mayor. You get smaller borough areas where you get mayors. We're elected. Most of them are elected as councillors. Then they choose among themselves a mayor, way ceremonial. Now, every 1 year, then they change the mayor. Then they vote for him. But the reason why there's an overall mayor of London is because the key functions such as transport, functions such as environmental laws, they under that one mayor. So the concept way former president been look at was, is there a need, for example, you get you get that borough style where you get smaller units with mayors, but you still get an overall, because that coordination now needed for let you get an overall mayor where they make sure say there is alignment with key policies for ensure overall service delivery. That is what President Kurma was saying, not talking about in any way, shape or form having greater fragmentation when in the proposal on the table. So you basically continue for work in silos. You build silos rather than you build an overall structure. Now, I know say one of the things where this government introduced a ministry of Western area. So I think the concept where then they look at now for weaken the local councils in order for make the Western area central government machinery be the vehicle of delivery. That really flies in the face of all knowledge, all literature, all studies, all data about effective service delivery to residents of any city or any locality. Waiting, all the literature, all the science, all the studies go tell you is that you need to get local governments close to the people, and then as local government, not central government, where for be policy focused, but local government when for be delivery and outcome focused, that they the powers and for deliver for their residents. I come back to service delivery. We own situation, most of which you'd expect as services. Look at the situation we just described as education. Look also at health. We get in this city over 74 PHUs, about 74 PHUs. The money we count, I actually take time yesterday, the money we government transfer for PHUs in August. From January, no transfers. The money way government transfers for PHU now be 80 million for 74 PHUs. We get that amount about 1,000 leones per PHU. But guess what? You know they go give 1,000 leones to a PHU. How did they pay for their light? How did they pay for their water? How did they pay for even cleaning of the pay? How did they pay their casual workers? These are the mysteries of governance. These are the mysteries of governance because government doesn't make no provision for that. And you say dividing Freetown go improve services. You're not able to fund the structures where you don't create, where you don't put the funding from in your own hands, the operations, because if road maintenance sits with SLRA and not with the councils, if the roads are not maintained, dividing Freetown into two councils, not even maintain the roads.
This particular proposal say now for political gains for the SLPP and they're not realistic.
It seems so, but you know it make I'm most concerned is because let me take free college education. A lot don't be talked about in free college education in the last few weeks, particularly in the light of this strike. We really shine a torchlight on the realities. It shine a torchlight on the fact, say, teaching and learning materials. You see the letter from the SLTU. Then make we know say teaching and learning materials not on be distributed. I believe say 3 years. I believe say they also talk about teacher salaries not being paid. Some teachers they're not being paid from July salary. And of course, the teen way being hit the headlines, they say no school subsidies for the second and the third terms of this year and school be about for start. This na the free quality education. This na a plan of government executed without proper preparation. Now this na the thing we meet see with this division of Freetown. You say you want for improved services. Please show we how. Show we how increasing the cost burden of Freetonians where you're not able to pay even the allocation. That allocation, I want to let people understand, say, no to council, they use the allocation. These are tied grants. So I do a breakdown where I don't share from education to the PHUs to the youth ministry where in a devolved person way from the ministry where they sit on a council to the social welfare where itself now from the Ministry of Social Welfare where they sit on a council to the gender, the sports, marine resources. These are staff of the ministries who sit in councils. They utilize the funds and the funds are very, very meager. So if you did talk about service delivery, let me be clear. Highlight to we what service is going to be improved by increasing the cost of running the councils.
So Mayor, you don't talk about service delivery and also the aspects of these revenue generation. So splitting Freetown into two. From the write-up we do, you mentioned about issue we get for do with for generate wealth go be very difficult, and also it not go able for stimulate economic growth. We that go put heavy burden on the public sector wage bill. So how you look at this particular aspect? If the Freetown is divided into two, like you mentioned in your write-up, does that mean say they're not able to generate more wealth?
So one of the reasons why I make mention of that is because I don't hear people say when we divide the council into two, it will create more jobs. You go get more council staff. That's a very, very, very regressive concept, because if you look for create more council staff, means say government get for pay more workers. What you get for ask yourself is how government get more money for pay the additional workers. Waiting useful for any city, waiting useful for any government. Me personally, as an economist and a chartered accountant, me personally, go tell you, say, from anybody we want progress in a city or in a country, you for look for how you stimulate the private sector for create jobs, not how you get government for create jobs, because then jobs then they get for be paid for, but the work of a council not to for generate the economy. Not this. Well, in our case, we not get the ability for single-handedly stimulate the economy, and certainly creating another council is not going to do that. As when I know Transform Freetown, Transforming Lives, me development agenda really get a big focus on job creation, but that job creation is not public sector jobs. Now stimulating the economy through interventions in climate action, through the digital economy, through investments in infrastructure, through stimulating tourism. Now that's in the private sector. Now they jobs they come out. Jobs not they come. You can call it a job, it is a job, but it's a job we get for be paid for. And out in the pay from by taking the small money we day for improve on water, we day for improve on schools, we day for improve on health facilities, and using them for pay more workers. More workers we then work not go able for change or improve the economic situation in the country or the city.
Is it the aspect of reducing the workload for the mayor, make the one for divide the city into two? Because somebody want to look at another angle. Looking at Freetown is much more, the population don't they grow extensively, and the city don't expand as well. Don't you think, say, probably now that aspect, say the one for divide Freetown, that like for one for reduce the workload of the mayor?
So I think, say, this is the sort of argument we sadly very uninformed, because when it comes to the role of a mayor, the role of a mayor now for take responsibility for ensure that services are delivered, the lives of their residents improved. I mean, I can read out from the Local Government Act, and as I point out, Lagos has 16 million people, Cairo has 20 million people, Nairobi has 5 million people, Accra has 2.3 million people. The number of people is relevant, but the roles, the mandates and the powers and how services are delivered is even more relevant, because the workload of the mayor now not to me they go make the road, not to me they go issue building permits. If you want to take that argument, let me look at a different way. Let's take Sierra Leone. We have one president, right? We get one country. We get a country Usai, the manifesto of the SLPP in 2018, we say then go give we light. We get light? No. The manifesto say then go give we free quality education. We get free quality education? No. The manifesto say then go give we I think it was a factory in every district. Then go improve the economy. We will get bread and butter. Have those things happened? No. Anybody this sit down and say, well, let me divide Salon into two for make the workload of the president less? Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Now you ask the question. I want your answer. Anybody they say let we divide Salon into two for make the workload of the president less? No. We did say how you did bring efficiencies, you know, and in we own case, one of the biggest issues we get as a council, and not just me, local councils across the board, now an issue of coordination, because the key functions of local councils in our global best practice, land use planning, building permits, road maintenance, them functions and they don't be taken from the councils. They sit with central government. Service delivery when it comes to education, the role of councils incredibly limited. When it comes to health, incredibly limited. So waiting at the service beyond sanitation. And when it comes to sanitation, I can proudly say we don't make huge improvements in spite of the issues where I raised. For example, the issue with the transfer stations not being functional. We did work now on that. The issue with the sanitary landfill project having to be cancelled. The issue of coordination, you know. So if you say the city in population don't increase, waiting me go say is why? The city in population don't increase because of failings of the central government when it comes to delivering opportunities outside of the capital. We see a situation in Sirius, as I remind you, promises were made about a factory in every city, in every district. EB, promises were made about, you know, growing economic productivity and growth across the country. It happened. So we see people, then they flock into Freetown, then they flock into the city in droves. And sadly, because the Ministry of Lands not get a land use plan, nor get an effective building permit regime, it will lead to massive growth in informal settlements and informal sector trading. Usai a government, they provide jobs, they provide manufacturing opportunities, the factories, a growth in the mining sector, where they absorb the young population. You not go see this pressure, and you also will get more dispersed urbanization. Urbanization is a phenomena where they here to stay globally. But wait, you want to see urbanization they happen in more than one place. So if you go Ghana, you know, it's not just Accra, you've got Kumasi, you've got Takoradi, you've got Tema, you know, and you have that in other places. But because of a lack of investment, because of a lack of focused interventions in other urban centers around the country, we see whole villages, they move kind of Freetown. The answer is not to divide Freetown in the same way where Usai central government don't fail for deliver on their mandates. Nobody is saying divide Sierra Leone into two, have two presidents to make it easier for the president. I mean, the argument is ridiculous.
In terms of the national consultation, like you said, just as you share your Facebook official handle, your official accounts on Facebook, this national consultation on Thursday coming, we don't know the nature or which form the consultation will get for take. But if Freetonians and Didi, and then for make a case, what do you feel say for be the case so then for present to the ministry at this stage?
Well, I think for me now, just a very simple twofold. Let me start with the money, okay? Running a local council requires resources. Resources wait for be used for deliver services. Creating a new structure. If you feel to say there are issues with service delivery, how will it improve their service delivery? We as a city, we digitize property rate system. That's a major innovation. We initially, the Minister of Local Government actually pushed back on. He pushed back on to the extent it prevents me from collecting property rates for almost one full year. That same system where we build a system now, we don't be so applauded. The World Bank they pay for Lewy system being introduced into other councils in McKinney, in Kenema, in Bo. So you see say that simple act of focused planning and dedication on the part of Freetown City Council creates an opportunity for make we generate revenue where today, even though now August we get the first quarter or last quarter in resources, council still able to move. Council still able, as I talked to you, so we declare all the cemeteries and we move into a new system for the cemetery clearing. The green spaces, yesterday I drive past Aberdeen roundabout, I smile. When I remember, say, before I be mayor, and it was the vision of me in terms of green spaces, we transform Aberdeen from a dump site, that roundabout, to the green and beautiful space that it is today. Go Hanabenka Coca Street, you know, when it comes to the tree planting, and even when this we subject here, where I get some very good news on, the cable car. I'm very, very pleased for reports to Freetonians, and for say a big thank you to Minister Sheku Bangura for the letter I received from last week, where it on confirms say in ministry they support the cable car project. And then he supports them because we ask for their support. Why? Because we're not able for access the financing we need for implement the project if the government's not giving them concurrence. And it don't very, very wisely suggest for let we get an interministerial committee, we can get a PIU, where we can get the various ministries, but now for get an interministerial committee, for let we work together for able to advance this project. This project, the cable car, the first line na Kisi Ferry Terminal, at the end na Government Wharf. Imagine if one of the rumors that we hear is that the new city go be from Kleintown to Congo Cross. Already the cable car don't be split. The half of the start of in another local council. Where will the leadership be? Where will the coordination be? We build layers of complexity where other cities they try to remove those. Other cities then it try to come together, you know, for ensure say there's more coordination. One of the things that I do when I first came, I mean, for signing an MOU with Kasho, with Western Area Rural. Why? Because the dirty way they come out na Gloucester, Ron Kandong. Now Freetown, they be impacted by Ward C. So greater collaboration, na aim, na the way how we go, na the way how we forgo. And if you look at the, then do a Western Area Structure Plan. The World Bank do a Western Area Structure Plan, we then just don't conclude the report. And all waiting they advocate for, now for actually bring Ward C and FCC together, you know, and get better collaboration and coordination and work in that way, as opposed to now splitting without having, you know, at a local council level. I mean, I'm very conscious of, you know, the things that will be muted, but we are talking about local council levels. This country only has 8 million people in total. We are not comparing ourselves to places like Kenya or Nigeria, where you talk about in Nigeria 220 something million people, therefore then get 3 levels of governance. You get local government, you get state government, you get federal government. We not to have federal states.
Say this splitting of Freetown go reverse
you
agenda on transform Freetown and transforming lives.
Absolutely.
Are you worried?
We are about for launch the collection element of the new sanitation Dirty Must Go program, where we don't invest so much in, not for we, but for Freetonians. You know, as I just mentioned to you, we just don't train 700 community engagement officers for go door to door for ensure say Oman register. We're building systems, and just like how we've been to build the system, the transfer station, and it got railroaded, you know, just like how we had such high hopes for get a sanitary landfill which got cancelled, you know, we see now a situation where for the benefit of Freetonians, and again I want to acknowledge the role that the Minister of Local Government play in getting that bylaw passed, having moved to this point, it not make sense to me for let you mindlessly, without any analysis, without any data, and as Chadi say, Abdul Fatoma say there should be a socio-economic analysis done of the implications, because what will happen to the east end of Freetown is that they're going to be deprived of resources, and therefore the challenges within the face. Look at the road. That video way then show we that way go viral 2 weeks ago. It really been focused more on the east end. You see old road. You don't go believe see that now road in the city, in the capital. No investment in maintenance of the road. You see Stewart Street, yeah, inside the capital. You see King Street just by Circular Road. You see Circular Road in Seth. This is service delivery. I think say the government for focus more on improving service delivery, we didn't get responsibility for deliver, rather than increasing the costs to Freetonians, the burden to Freetonians, fragmenting management of the city and city issues. No, when it comes to even cemeteries, you know, then go say, oh, the cemeteries. I want to look again at the cost structure from 2018 to now. The cost of electricity, we council the bear, don't more than quadruple. The cost of energy, the electricity, but also the cost of water, the cost of fuel. We don't see fuel prices move to 24 leones per litre. These are costs that the running costs of council. That don't mean say we don't see an increase in the revenue of council, but we don't see an increase in the running costs of council. When it comes for doing a wall, when it comes for building a market, we don't see the operational costs rise significantly. These are the responsibilities of government. And I say earlier on, nobody not say if government's not able for do waiting and don't say then go do divide the country into two. Nobody not say that because we not say that makes sense.
As to the wrap up this edition of the breakfast show today, I just want to let you wrap up with your official position on this proposal of dividing Freetown. What's your official position on them? Because some people might be thinking she's in opposition, so she's just opposing. What's your official position on this?
Like I say, Mabel, and I go say him again. Me position not to because I in opposition. Me position because me not passionate Freetonian. Me not person we love me city, and I believe say me city get huge potential. We not to be honest, and we go be destroyed by the plans that we dey afoot. So my position is that as the mayor of Freetown, I stand opposed to these plans. I understand, say, sometimes people, it can be a question of misunderstanding. So I don't seek audience. I've been getting an opportunity for speak to His Excellency the President at the time when we get a meeting with him about the KDU and our SLAF issue with the land in Moritown. And on that occasion, I asked him for an opportunity for present to him the case for why it is not in the interest of Freetonians. It is not in the interest of Sierra Leone for let the city be divided and two councils be formed. He say, go give me that opportunity day. I don't reach out again to in PA. I've been told that when he come out America from the UN meetings, I go get that opportunity today. I look forward to the opportunity because as I go say again, this note about Yvonne Akisoya, me own mayoral term, it go done with Freetown as Freetown. This not about Freetown. This not about Freetonians. This not about we future.
All right, many thanks for you joining at this edition of the Breakfast Show. That's not the mayor for Freetown, Her Worship Yvonne Akisoya. Maybe they talk on the issue we get for do with splitting Freetown into two and getting two localities. Well, some other time again we will get them as and when necessary for the updates on this. As this coming Thursday, instead been just done post time for say the Ministry of Local Government will get a consultation.
And everybody in I know say the camera don't left me, but I did take him back because I want for let Freetonians and come in our numbers. I want let Freetonians and come because this now is city in future. Many of the people that were involved in these proposals not get a lived history in the city. Let we win our Freetonians come and explain, and let also we use the opportunity for tell the minister the services way then as government they deliver, where then how then they go fall short, and let the minister explain to we how dividing Freetown go improve on road maintenance, go improve on electricity, go improve on education, go improve on health, because when you talk about service delivery, now this you talk about.
Alright, well, now this edition of the Breakfast Show go left for now. Many thanks to the production team. Now, Musa Saukuruma me kuna see we live now all the different platforms them Musa una see we this morning. Until we meet again, remember say throughout the day we get different contents them we will share. Now we platform them. Continue for like, share, and tell more people about Liberty Online TV. Until we meet again, Mabel Kabade say get a good day and goodbye.
And continue for share and make sure say you continue for watch Liberty Television as we get plenty stories we the dope now with different channels there. And me na Hassan Kuma, get yourself a comfortable day. Bye bye.
develop city, then clean. All clean city, develop.
This is Yvonne Akisoya, Mayor of Freetown. And today, I want to talk to Freetonians about sanitation. We objective, transform Freetown, transforming lives. We not go able to achieve them if we all not join hand. Freetown City Council get role, but every Freetonian also get responsibility. Let we start first with the fact say FCC with the sweep 110 major streets every single morning from Monday to Saturday. But when we don't sweep the streets, if Freetonians then come and they continue for heap dirty in the street, in order to make the place look fine. Now make we get them litter bins them. The yellow bins we wanna go see around. So in the waka, you drink from your water bottle, your water plastic, you eat your packets on tin. Not even a ground where you done. Make sure say you put on one of them bins then they. That litter bin they, in order for you host dirty. You know mean say if you pack you host dirty, you can pin her next to the bins them. Not to the idea that. Not give you host dirty. To them one way the Allah say clean salon. No say that dirty way they collect now you host. You know get for can go now the one of the two official sites. You know they can go Kissy Bomber, you know they can go King Tom Bomber. It turns so it left on the ground. And now we council get a problem, but you self get a problem because now front somebody else in Domot, your own dirty don't end up. So what you for do with your host dirty? We get the one then a council when we don't certify, say they're not approved waste providers. Then they on tricycles, some of them they not vehicle. You will get host, you will get business, you in a hospital, institution, everybody for make sure say their waste collected by an approved FCC waste collector. We get the tricycle groups, we get the companies. So you go see them around. We engage with them on a regular basis. And wait till we go do now as we come into this new year. Now for make sure say FCC stand behind them for you for no side and day and for let them self go to you so that we not go get that gap. When you eat dirty in a gutter, it end up na Lumley Beach, Toke Beach. All the tourism ambition where we get for the city, we lost that potential there. FCC, they spend boku money pan dirty business. The fuel, the labor, the vehicle maintenance, the spare parts, the night operations, the illegal dump site clearing where we get for the do every now and then. All that boku money. I'm not gonna say we're not gonna spend anything, but we're going to reduce some. If Freetonians then do the right thing. Because we're not gonna get for go clear illegal dump sites. We're not gonna get for sweep as many streets and spend as long. So if we reduce that money we spend now on dirty business, we go able put some on development. We all want for improving municipal schools. We want improving markets them. We want for let we see new developments at the city. That money we will use for dirty business. You and while we all make up with mind. Pay.
You are watching Liberty Breakfast Show on Liberty Online TV.